everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm Jenny, and as always, I'm here with Mark, our resident tech guru. How's it going, Mark?
Jenny, I'm doing great. I was just reading this absolutely fascinating article and, well, let's just say my mind is a little bit blown right now. We have got times to talk about this today.
It's times laughs. Okay, you've got my attention. What rabbit hole did you fall down this time?
All right, so picture this. Apple, right? Big tech giant, we all know them. They had this AI feature they were trying, using artificial intelligence to create news summaries.
Okay, I'm with you. Summarizing news? That sounds pretty cool, actually. Very efficient.
Exactly. But, and here's where it gets wild, they had to pull the plug on it. They actually suspended the whole AI news summary feature.
Whoa, seriously? What happened?
Well, it turns out their AI was, shall we say, taking some creative liberties with the facts. It was reporting things that, well, never actually happened.
Oh no. Like what? Was it misinterpreting data?
More like straight up hallucinating, Jenny. It's like it was writing fan fiction instead of news. For instance, it reported Donald Trump endorsing Tim Waltz for president and that Pete Hegseth was fired. Neither of those things happened.
You're kidding! That's a pretty big blunder. It's kind of like when my GPS tries to drive me into a lake, but on a much larger, more impactful scale.
Totally. It's a prime example of what we in the tech world call AI hallucinations. Basically, the AI gets confused and starts filling in the blanks with, well, nonsense.
So is this just an Apple problem, or is it a bigger issue with AI in general?
Oh, it's definitely not just Apple. I mean, remember when Google's AI told people to put glue on their pizza? It's a widespread issue with these large language models.
Right, I remember that. That was wild. So what's causing these AI to, as you put it, hallucinate?
It comes down to how they're trained. They learn from massive amounts of text data, and sometimes they struggle to distinguish between what's real and what's not. It's kind of like, if you only read satirical news, you might start believing some pretty outlandish things.
That makes sense. So they're basically just mimicking what they've seen, even if it's not accurate. It's like a game of telephone, but with algorithms.
Exactly. And that's why the National Union of Journalists, the NUJ, they're raising a big red flag. They're saying this whole situation poses huge risks to public confidence and trust in journalism.
I can see why. I mean, if you can't trust the news summaries, what can you trust? It's like questioning the very foundation of information.
Right? Seamus Dooley from the NUJ put it perfectly. He said these AI errors are a stark reminder of how easily misinformation can be fueled.
So what's the solution here? Are we just going to ditch AI for news summarization altogether?
Not necessarily. I mean, the potential benefits are huge. Think about how much information AI could process and deliver in an instant. It's like having a super efficient news researcher at your fingertips. But we need better safeguards.
So how do we make it better? How do we prevent these AI hallucinations?
Well, one approach is what they call a human-centric approach. Basically, it means keeping humans in the loop, having editors review and verify the AI's output before it goes public.
That sounds like a good idea. Like a checks and balances system for AI.
Totally. Another thing is improving the training data itself, making sure the AI is learning from reliable sources. And then there are all sorts of technical tweaks, like adversarial training, which is basically teaching the AI to identify its own weaknesses. I feel like I'm getting too technical here, sorry. Old habits die hard.
No, it's fascinating. It's like teaching the AI to fact-check itself.
Yeah, exactly. There are companies like Perplexity AI that are trying to tackle this problem. They combine AI with web search to try and give more accurate answers.
That's really interesting. So it's not just about the AI being smart, it's also about it being connected to the real world, to verified information.
Precisely. Alfie Marsh from Perplexity AI talks about how they're trying to aggregate information from multiple sources to get a more complete picture. It's like cross-referencing your sources, something we all learned in school, right?
Right, it makes total sense. So do you think Apple will bring back their AI news summaries anytime soon?
They say they're working on improving it, and they'll restore it when it meets their standards for reliability and accuracy. Which, is encouraging, but it's a tough problem to solve.
It sounds like it. It's like trying to teach a robot to understand nuance and context, which is something even humans struggle with sometimes.
Yeah, and it really highlights the importance of, human judgment in all of this. We can't just blindly trust technology, even when it's as advanced as this.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that technology is a tool, and like any tool, It's only as good as the person wielding it. Or, in this case, the people programming it.
Well said, Jenny. And it makes you think, what other areas might we see AI hallucinations pop up in the future? It's not just about news, you know. It could be in anything from medical diagnoses to legal advice. It just blows my mind to think about the possibilities and the potential pitfalls.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on. It's like we're living in the early days of a sci-fi movie, and we don't quite know how the plot is going to unfold.
Totally. But hey, that's what makes it so exciting, right? We're figuring it out as we go. And I think as long as we keep asking these questions and pushing for better solutions, we can harness the power of AI for good.
I agree. It's a fascinating journey, and I'm glad we get to explore it together, Mark, even if your explanations sometimes make my head spin times laughs.
Laughs? Hey, that's my job. But seriously, thanks for helping me break it down, Jenny. And thanks to all of you for listening. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.
And remember, don't believe everything you read, especially if it was written by an AI. See you next week.